Hi everybody, I'm here today for a feel-good lesbian love story. So grab your tissues and some fizzy water if you need to. I'm going to be reviewing and commenting on Sophie and Tiana. So when this was filmed, they were engaged. They'd been together about 2.5 years. So let's just jump right into this clip of them discussing their relationship.
Really, yeah, that notion of safety is not about gender. That's that's not true. Because I have never, both you and I have been with men in the past, and I have never felt safer. And safer with my, literally me, but also my heart, my mind, just who I am. I've never felt safer in my entire life than with you. I look at you and I know you get me,
I do get you.
And that's safety.
Let's just jump right into the deep stuff from the beginning. And I'm telling you, this is just the beginning with these two. These conversations are filmed by a studio called The Skin Deep, and they have a relationship card game, and they film couples or family members asking each other these questions that help build a more meaningful connection. And we get to watch these two and see how they connect and answer these questions. Before I forget, please subscribe to my channel. My name's Katie. I'm a licensed therapist. I'd really like to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm almost there. The question must have been something about feeling safe with each other, and they are sharing about how they feel emotionally safe with each other. And that's really one of the most important aspects of any relationship, and that's emotional safety. I can't even express how vital this is. So emotional safety means that you have mutual trust, respect, and support. You can essentially just relax in each other's presence. You feel at home with each other. You can just take a deep breath with each other. It's when you don't have to feel like you're on guard. It's when you feel seen and heard and understood. And if you take a look at their body language, Tiana's the one on the left, and she has an open and engaging body language. And she listens and responds very well. So let's just keep watching.
Why did you decide to marry me?
But
we're engaged.
we're engaged, and why did I decide that I wanted to marry you? You are my favorite person. I look up to you. You are my best friend. I don't want to be without you. I do not want my life to be lived without you. I want us to have a shared life. I want us to do life together.
That would even be my answer. I couldn't not be with you. Once I met you, I had to live life with you.
Yeah,
it was like a life together. And also, as an LGBTQ plus couple, I want to marry you because we can.
Mm-hmm.
The name of this episode is Marrying You Because We Can. And again, they're expressing how passionate they feel about each other. And she says, I couldn't not be with you. Once I met you, I had to live life with you. So, oh my goodness, they are so intense, and I feel like this is such an intense moment, and if they weren't being filmed, they'd be making out. It feels like a really intimate moment. Sometimes I want to cover my eyes because it feels like I'm watching something that's really private. I mean, I keep holding my breath, and there's just so much passion here, and I love the way Tiana is using reflective listening, whether she realizes it or not. And Sophie's really good with her words and expressing her feelings. And Tiana's making really good eye contact and nodding and acknowledging. And this is how we can all learn to listen and reflect. We can learn to not interrupt. Of course, it's easier when somebody's just gushing over you like they are, but still.
And I mean it so much. I'm so looking forward to us as a couple being taken more seriously by the outside world when we are married. Because I think gay women, gay men, but because we're women, gay women get a lot of shit for being gay, and we know what it's like to walk down the street holding hands and having people stare at us or having someone shout at us, and I want to say this is my wife, and I want to say this is how serious we are.
Yeah.
And that means something to me. I want people to take us seriously as a couple.
Because we take each other seriously. Yeah,
because we do.
Yeah.
And also because there is there is still a stigma surrounding gay relationships, and we've seen it firsthand. So to introduce you as my wife to people will be really empowering.
Love that one.
I love you. Is that my God?
And I want to add also that people get married for all sorts of reasons. And also I realize marriage is not for everybody. Some people do get married out of feeling pressured or just because they feel like they're supposed to. And Sophie's saying that she wants their relationship to be taken more seriously. And I get that. You know, gay marriage has only been legal since, I think, 2015. And before then, it wasn't even an option. And a lot of couples felt like second-class citizens. I was just wondering if anybody else thinks they could have made this space a little bit cozier. It seems a little sterile, or maybe sometimes these conversations don't go that well and they don't want it to feel intimate. So who knows? Anyway, let's just get back to this love story.
What was our hardest time together? And I just sounded so Irish when I said that. I just realised, what was our hardest time together? What was our hardest time together, and how did we overcome it?
Oh, that is so easy. Long distance relationship.
Yeah, we both.
We did an 8,325 mile long distance relationship, and I know it by heart because it's that far. And it was a year of that. But we were so committed to each other, and we knew that this was going to be something special that we did it. And we didn't argue. We had trust. We were committed. We had fun. But it was hard. It was so hard being here in LA without you, especially because, you know, you'd be here every month for a couple of days, maybe sometimes multiple times a month.
So this is huge. Let's talk about long distance relationships because they are not for everybody. It sounds like they got to see each other about once a month, and you need to be a very secure person to be in a long distance relationship. If you have any jealousy issues, or if you have an insecure attachment style like disorganized or anxious attachment, it's best to stay away from long distance because you might not be able to get enough validation and you'll be worrying a lot. It sounds like they both probably have secure attachment styles, especially if they didn't really fight a lot during that time. The clients that I have who are in long distance relationships struggle in varying degrees with it. And for some reason, it's just too much stress. So choose wisely if you're single and trying to date, and ask yourself if you could handle a long distance relationship because it's not for everybody. Let's keep watching.
Go out for dinner and I'd be like, Tiana, like, I'm so tired. Like, I cannot even stay awake. And you were just a trooper. You really were.
You were for going out tired.
Like, you were so patient.
You were a trooper. No, you were a trooper. Wow. I mean, they have so much empathy and respect for each other. I'm just loving watching like two healthy people talk to each other this way. The way that this could be going if they weren't as healthy is one could be saying to the other, I think this was harder for me than it was for you. And look at everything I was doing for you. And that's sort of like trying to one up each other. And I see a lot of couples try to do that when there's too much ego involved, but I'm not seeing any of that here. They really appreciate each other and have gratitude. They aren't trying to compete with each other. I don't see one of them complaining about sacrificing too much for the other. And so this is good.
Like, you were so patient with me. And oh my God, when I had to leave you, Tiana.
We cried like every single time. Even if we knew you were coming back in 2 weeks, we would cry.
It didn't matter. Like, I felt I was being ripped from you. Like, I was, first of all, like, dreading doing a 16-hour flight and working it on the way back. But I hated leaving you. Like, it was just awful. But we overcame it, and when I got here, like, we were so looking forward to the moment I stepped off that plane and I wasn't on a layover. I was here, and we don't take any of it for granted. We really don't.
Oh my gosh, I keep hearing like the Titanic music playing in my head because they're just so romantic and passionate. My guess is they're probably both writers and creators. Well, actually, I know they are because I did a little digging, but when people can express themselves this way verbally, it's almost like a gift. And then to be able to feel safe enough to say these things, knowing that the love is mutual, just makes it even better. And also, they both have these intense gazes when it seems like they're just looking into each other's eyes or looking into each other's souls, right? Are you seeing that like I am? I call it heart eyes. And my wife looks at me that way with hard eyes too, and I just love it. Let's watch some more.
Ooh, when have you felt sexiest around me, and what did it teach you about yourself? I would actually love to know that. You're so hard on yourself, though.
I know you find me really beautiful. And I find that very hard to believe. And I've never heard, you are the first person that has ever complimented me in not only looks but in so many other ways. I literally don't know what to do with myself when you compliment me on anything. So when it comes to my appearance, I've never had anyone say I was sexy before. You were the first person, Tiana, and I know you know that. I've told you.
Oh, it's cheesy, but I will tell you every single day, and you know that, until you believe it. And not just appearance, forget appearance, but soul. Beautiful.
I told you guys this was intense, and Sophie brings up so many topics here that need to be addressed. First of all, I'm sure this isn't her first relationship, and no one has ever complimented her. It just breaks my heart to hear that. So listen, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't give you compliments, then as a therapist, I'm telling you that it's not a healthy relationship. And if you're the one not giving compliments to your partner on a daily basis, then this is your reminder to start. It's simple. It takes 10 seconds. Just don't take each other for granted. When my wife left for work this morning, I told her she looked beautiful, and I've already texted her today to tell her I appreciate her. So marriage takes work and effort, but it's not that hard. But a healthy relationship doesn't just happen by chance. It takes two people who make the relationship a priority. And I'm glad that Tiana tells her that she will remind her every day that she is beautiful. And I think this is a great question, by the way. When did you feel sexiest around me, and what did it teach you about yourself? You can ask your partner that question today and see what they say. Maybe that'll build some connection with you and you can know more about them. Still, I'm loving the way they don't interrupt each other, and you can tell they're really listening to understand, not just react or defend.
Oh, you're sexy. You're so cute. I love you so much. Oh, stop. This is the first time we haven't been touchy when sitting with each other. And I'm just
Ooh. Who has more power in this relationship, and why do you think that is?
Interesting, because I feel like at different times we've both had power in different ways. At the beginning, I know you would say this too, probably more me when we first moved in together, because I was here in LA, and although we picked the apartment we have together, I was making a lot of decisions.
Like I said, if there weren't any cameras around, I feel like these two would just be on top of each other by now. They're both just really intense and passionate lovers. They're people who we say love. They seem like hopeless romantics. So some of you out there might be puking by now, but I love this sort of thing. And this type of couple does not end up on the ultimatum queer love. Okay. But back to the question of who has the most power in this relationship. I want to comment on that because most people don't realize that that's a stage that happens in most couples. Usually after the honeymoon phase is over, this is when couples will realize there are things they don't like about each other and want to try to change each other. So Harville Hendrix, who is a marriage expert, talks about this in his book, Getting the Love You Want. It's a phase that all couples will need to work through. Here, though, they're referring to who is making the most important decisions, but it sounds like they have an equal distribution of power in this relationship.
been asked before, who wears the trousers in your relationship? Like, who's the guy? We've been asked that.
Yeah.
We work hard as like two women in a relationship to make sure that we're equal all the time. You know, we are very equal naturally, but I think, you know, it's important to give the other person like a break sometimes as well, and we do that for each other. I don't want you always to have to do this and do that and the other when it comes to having power and stuff like that, and we're good at giving each other time to make decisions, and that, like, we're not, I wouldn't say one of us is like more in control or more powerful than the other.
I think that's just simply equality as well. I see you as an equal, so I want you to have equal power, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's such an annoying question. I've been with women for so long that I even forget that that's a thing. And sometimes I don't even understand what that means, because gender roles are harmful for both women and men, really. Also, I really liked earlier on when Tiana said they both try to listen to each other to understand, not to answer. And she's probably referring to not being defensive. And that's a skill that has to be practiced because it's so hard. I can tell in these conversations they're trying to practice reflective listening and not interrupt each other. They're doing a really good job with it.
When were you the most in love with me?
I feel like I have to say right now, because I love you more and more every single day. So I can't say in the past, because I love you the most I have ever right now, you know?
Okay, was anybody else not surprised by that answer? I could tell by the look in her eyes that she was going to say that. And at this point, they've been together for 2.5 years. It seems like their love is growing strong. They're engaged. They've been through a lot together. I mean, moving from Ireland to Los Angeles was probably really hard, and they probably had to come out to family and friends if they hadn't already, and who knows what that was like for them. So the growing pains of moving in together, then planning a wedding, all of that is really hard on couples, but it seems like they're doing a great job.
Because I love you the most I have ever right now, you know, and not just because we're sitting here in a deep conversation, but I learn something new about you every day, or something I love every day. It's like, what do we always say? Souls going on journeys together.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on a soul journey with you.
Yeah.
I am the most in love with you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the same page. I want to give you a kiss. A great speaker.
And we got a sweet kiss in the end. They're intense, and they feel like they're both on a soul journey together. Now, the other good news is that they are still together. This episode was filmed 2 years ago, and I did look them up to make sure they're still together before I made this video, because I would be heartbroken if they weren't. And I would not have done this video. And although I do know that a lot can change with couples once they start living together and doing the real life stuff. And I'm sure they have disagreements like we all do, but it seems like they'll be able to work through them rationally with respect. Now, for me as a therapist, I loved watching this because I've worked with couples a lot in my practice, and usually by the time they end up on my couch, this phase is over and they should have gotten into therapy like a year earlier. So it's refreshing for me to see this amount of respect and great communication. They did get married, and I saw that they wrote a book together, and it's a mindfulness and poetry journaling book. And that seems right up their alley. That's so adorable. Also, these questions they ask each other are part of a card game for connecting. And I'm not sponsored by Skin Deep, but that does seem like a great resource to offer couples. If you need prompts to connect deeper with your partner, then check them out. I'll leave a link in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this video, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for a good love story. I'm a hopeless romantic. And let me know if there are any other good LGBTQ themed shows that are worth watching and reviewing. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.